Hey survivors, this is part one, the official part one of our Looter Too Late series, in which we discuss the things that we expect looters to leave behind that could be useful to us as survivors. Ultimately, what we want to do is build a bug out bag out of the things that we can find that have been left behind. And in discussing this on our page, on our Facebook page, one of the things we discovered is that the general consensus was that ingredients, things that are going to be used to make something else. One of the big ones I took was flour. You know, most people are going to look at it and go, flour, I'm not making a cake. I don't have any use for flour. They don't understand that flour on its own is a standalone food, but things of that nature where I've got to mix this and this and this to make something else are things that we expect most looters to leave behind. The other big one that we all kind of agreed on was that small packaging. They're not going to be, paying for the stuff. Obviously, they're looting, they're stealing. They're not going to take the small package. What they're going to end up doing is taking the biggest box they can or the biggest can that they can. They're not paying for it. Why worry about the small stuff? Just go ahead and take the biggest stuff you can get your hands on. So anything in small packaging has a fair chance of being left behind. Here's the things I've come up with for what I believe is going to be a reasonable food stores to put away, put in your bob, to help us build our Looter Too Late bug out bag. One of the first ones I came up with was cornmeal. Like I said, it's not on its own, it's not a horrible thing, but most people are going to think of it as a component of food and not food on its own. Same thing with the flour. And you notice I took a small package of flour. Flour, if we mix it with a little water and we can add some salt, it's going to make hardtack. And hardtack was a staple for our military up to through the Civil War and a little beyond. The guys were issued a little bit of pork and hardtack. They would eat the pork right away. The hardtack is what they ate on the march. If it was enough to sustain them to march and fight, surely it's enough to get us through. Same thing with the cornmeal. What I'm going to do is make a batch of hardtack with just flour, and then I'll make one where I actually add the cornmeal so that I have a little variety. What do they call it? Menu diversity. We don't want to suffer menu fatigue is another term I've heard, and I think that's pretty accurate. Another thing I got is this little Jiffy mix. This one happens to be a pizza crust. They also make them with like blueberry muffins and cornbread muffins and different things. They're all excellent, and again, it's just going to end up being a hardtack for me. I'm going to mix in a little water, put it in the oven, and make my own hardtack. But this is something you can look for. If you get the blueberry muffins, or I think they have strawberry muffins in different flavors, those are fabulous on their own like that. You can actually break them up, pour a little milk over them. You have a nice cereal. It's more like an oatmeal, but tastes great. Plenty of calories in it. The pickled pig's feet. Not something I'm really looking forward to eating. However, I don't picture it being a high theft item. I don't see anybody ever under the age of about 70 eating this stuff. And I think for that reason, we don't expect a lot of 70-year-olds to be out looting. So this could be one of those items that's left behind. Most people are going to look at it and gag. For me, It is stored in vinegar, or preserved in vinegar. Vinegar is another thing that's really good for you. A spoonful of vinegar, about a tablespoon or two or three times a week, will prevent kidney stones. And I know that firsthand. I've done it. So the vinegar is going to be good for you. The pork is going to be good for you. A lot of fat in pork. I think there's only about 280 calories in this whole package, but it's a 9 ounces of food. I assume they're probably going to count the vinegar in that too when they do the math. Usually that's how they do it with pork, but again, you could take it right out of the package here and eat it. We could crack this open and just eat it right away. I'll probably cook mine in a pan a little bit and do it that way. This is a good one. This is a salad topping, and it's, if you look at the ingredients, there's all kinds of things in here, but one of the things that attracted me was sunflower seeds. I know there's sunflower seeds in here, and it's not soybeans, but something like that. The package itself doesn't have a lot of calories. 15 servings at 35 calories a serving. So not a ton of calories in here. Whatever it is, 450 roughly. But it is one of those things you can pop the top and just eat it just like it is. But I don't picture it being a high theft item simply because it's billed as a salad topping and not something you'd necessarily eat on your own. But it's almost like a trail mix, but it looks to me like there's some artificial bacon bits and different things in here. So kind of looking forward to trying this one, and it would be one of those things you could eat on the move. If you're trying to just put on some miles, you want to get as far away from whatever the scenario is you're dealing with, whether it be zombies or a tornado area or some sort of fire or whatever. You're trying to get away. You've got to put on a lot of miles. This would be something you could eat on the go. You don't have to stop and prepare it. This is one I don't picture being a high theft item. Certainly not here in Iowa. Depending on where you're at, it may be a little more. But it's agave nectar. And it's not bad. It's got about the same calorie content as honey. But again, with it not being something that here in Iowa we're generally looking for, I know I've never seen it on the shopping list my wife gave me. I've never seen my wife go, "Ooh, we're out of agave nectar. Let's go get some." So I went ahead and grabbed a bottle of it. We're going to try it. It's probably going to be one of those things that I put right on my hardtack and eat it that way because it is pretty sweet. Along those lines, I also got this small bottle of honey. Honey is one of those things that's really good for you. It has no shelf life. If there is an expiration date on the package, it's really kind of BS. They found honey in Egyptian tombs. It was in pots stored with pharaohs. It was crystallized, but it was still perfectly edible. So honey is an awesome staple. If you're prepping at all, or if you just want to set something back to have for an emergency, honey's an excellent choice. The bad side of this is that in with the honey on all the shelf, there's all these different kinds of honey. If you look at the ingredients on this one, there's one word, honey. On a lot of them, you'll see just a string of words. Some of them you can't pronounce. Those I shy away from. I picked this one specifically because it is a brand I'm familiar with, and I know that it is just pure honey. So this is a huge find. If I were in some sort of apocalyptic shit hit the fan scenario, I could get my hands on this, I'd be pretty happy. You can just kick it back, drink it as is. You do not have to do anything to prepare it. you'll get the calories, and your body will absorb it really fast. Probably the last food item here is olive oil. Not a ton of calories in it, but it's very absorbable. Your body likes it. And again, with the hardtack, and I know I'm going to be having hardtack, this is something I can actually pour right on my hardtack to add a little flavor and add a few calories. This would be a really good find in a shit hits fan situation. All right, that's going to cover that for food. What I'd like for you guys to do is make your own lists, maybe even make your own videos, post a link on our ZASC page on Facebook. There are no wrong answers here, guys. The whole idea is think outside the box. Try and think of the things that other people aren't going to. That will very much set you apart from the crowd when the time comes. Again, everything I'm doing for these videos is going to be in prep for that camp. I'm going to use all the stuff we're seeing here over the course of the next videos. The next one will probably be water. After that, we'll do shelter and cordage. And medicine after that, probably anything that we can come up with that's mildly medicinal. There'll be some firecraft in there somewhere. So we're going to cover all the basics. Anything that would be in your bug out bag, we're going to go through a loot or too late scenario and figure out what we can use, what we could grab. I'm going to make an emergency bug out bag with that. I'm not going to take my regular bag and use it at camp in August. I'm going to use this improvised bag that I created in this Loot or Too Late video series here. So it's not like it's going to go untested, or I'm just telling you this is going to work and there won't be any proof. There will be proof when it's all over, I promise you. Alright guys, make some videos, make some lists. Think about it if nothing else, man. If you don't have to make a video, but at least think about it next time you're shopping at Walmart or Hy-Vee or Piggly Wiggly or wherever you shop. Think about these things. Just get your mind working, man. It's not like shopping is a real mental challenge. So if nothing else, it'll give you something to think about. Thanks for watching. Hope I help you out at least somewhat on some level. Bye-bye.